When I got out of the military, I had a hard time translating my military experience into the civilian world. I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for my wife, I probably would have been that homeless or impoverished vet. But it can be easier with the right support. I'm Mark Casper, and I'm the Executive Director of Tech4Troops. In today's world, you have to have a computer to be able to apply for jobs. Our mission is to empower veterans in need with computers and training to get back in the workforce.
Here at Tech4Troops, we're here to push you forward to get you back to where you want to be in life. When the veterans come in, I teach them everything you could think of that's done with a computer. I want them to feel that this is a tool that's going to help them get their life back.
I went into a kind of a deep depression. Eventually, I lost my job and I was out on the street. The computer was able to connect me to the web, and I was able to start putting resumes out. And you have to have these small building blocks to get from point A to point B. I'm not worried about employment anymore.
The need is great, and we want to be able to support our veterans across the nation.
All right, everyone, welcome to the Tech4Troops Cup Series, and tonight is our Season 4 finale. These drivers, all 25, 30, 35 that we started the season out with, it all comes down to this one race. 4 drivers have made it through the playoffs, and we will see them compete tonight for that championship here in the series. Thanks for tuning in to the IWM Broadcast Network. I'm Rick Souza here with my co-host all season long, John DeRudris. And John, this is it.
Yeah, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. We have 4 drivers now battling for that Tech4Troops Cup Series championship, and no better place to do this than at Homestead Miami Speedway, one of my favorite tracks. It's a fantastic track to race at, a fantastic track to call a broadcast from. And we cannot wait to see what we are going to be in for a treat here. I think it's going to be a great racing. You already see some guys in the high line, low line being able to be used. And, Rick, that's the beauty of this track. You can run all over the place.
Absolutely. And it's a night race, so it'll be just a little bit different what we see. But what we would like to do is something a little bit different than we've done before, is kind of get those drivers who have qualified for this playoffs to get them here in the booth with us, and let's learn a little bit about them and get to know them a little bit better before we get this on.
Absolutely. Let's do it. So, Rick, who do we got up first in the lovely Tech4Troop broadcast booth? Who can we bring in?
I am trying to bring in Garrett Johnston, but for some reason I am not able to. Can you see if you can move him over?
Yeah, let me give it a shot. I'm going to try right now. All right, I think we got Garrett Johnson, one of our championship contenders here. Garrett, how are you feeling tonight going into Homestead?
Oh, I'm feeling all right. Not phenomenal because I'm not a huge fan of this track, but like I talked with you guys about a couple weeks ago, you just kind of got to roll with the punches and see if you can pull a rabbit out every now and then.
Well, Garrett, it's good to talk with you some more. Obviously, tonight's the big, the big race where it's all out there. There's some big bucks out there for prize money, but tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about how long have you been involved in iRacing? Give us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I grew up racing, dirt tracks in the Midwest here, and I started at the age of 8 actually, and raced all the way through high school. And there came a point where it was either you keep racing or you don't race and you go to college. So, and we made the decision to go to college. I didn't make it, but someone made it for me. So I got into iRacing a couple years ago, just because I always, missed racing, and it's hard to fully get out of it. And a buddy of mine got me into it, and I took the deep dive and went all in. And I got fully involved with league racing probably about a year ago, and really just fell in love with it. And you kind of get some of the enjoyment back of real racing, and it's a lot less expensive.
Right. Well, yeah, less damage to beat out of a car on Monday morning, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure. Yeah, a lot. It's a one-time investment, not a weekly investment.
Right. So where are you from?
I'm originally from Illinois, but I currently live near Kansas City, Missouri. Grew up in the Midwest my whole life, and actually from Wisconsin. So, go Packers!
There you go. All right. Well, I know obviously we're going to try and bring in John. Let's go ahead and see if we can bring in Lilith and add her to our broadcast booth here.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, Lilith Peters, you are in the broadcast booth. Welcome to the championship race. You got Garrett in here as well, a fellow competitor. Got to say congratulations on making it to the championship 4. How do you feel going into the night's race?
I feel pretty good. I probably won't win it, but I'll have fun.
Well, having fun's what it's all about. One of the things that we wanted to take the opportunity was to kind of learn a little bit about each of the drivers. Can you kind of give us a little bit about maybe your background and how you got involved with iRacing?
I've done video game racing my whole life, basically, since my uncles had the wheel in the early 2000s. But I only recently got out racing. But before that, it was like Heat 5 and Assetto Corsa.
Cool. Very cool. Well, we certainly have enjoyed watching you race this season. John and I were kind of going over some early stats before, out of the 18 starts, 4 wins, 9 top 5s, 13 top 10s. Really just a great season.
Thanks. I try to be consistent more than going as fast as possible, and usually it works out for me.
It certainly shows here, especially this season. Well, obviously this is Homestead. Some people love it. Some people don't love this track. What's your thoughts?
It's probably my favorite track in real life, especially since it's a home track, but I've never been very good at iRacing here, so hopefully I can change that tonight.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things that we were definitely. So you don't have to tell us exactly, but where are you from? Which give us some ideas to what part of the country you grew up in.
Tampa.
Okay, so Florida. Nice.
Yeah, never been to Miami, but hopefully I get to eventually.
Well, it's not that far away. All right, very good. So that's Lilith Peters. You've heard from Garrett Johnson a bit. Definitely that's 2 of our 4 drivers. I think Chuck Van Scoik is in the waiting room. John, see if we can bring Chuck in.
Yeah, let's bring Chuck in. Chuck Van Scoik, welcome to the IWM broadcast booth. We are live with about 11 minutes to go. Congratulations on making it into the championship 4 and the finale. Gotta ask, how are you feeling going into the night's race at Homestead?
Feeling pretty good. Got a strategy. Just got to make sure I keep the car under me and don't push it too much. You can get loose and ruin your race if you do. So worry about getting crazy. Last 30 laps and pushing and taking chances. Then just getting to that point is the key.
Sorry about that. I was just trying to. We're having some technical difficulties in the broadcast booth, trying to get a little bit of tech support. Chuck, tell us, trying to get a little bit of a feel for racing. Tell us a little bit about your, how you got started and, what drew you to iRacing.
Well, like most people, I was running on console. COVID's happened and stuck in my house with a lot of money, so figured I'd get into some racing. Racing, I've always been around racing. My dad, I've been going to Dover since the late 80s. He's been going since the 70s, and now we're going to Pocono this weekend. Daytona, Dover, that's where we're always going to every year. So my love for racing and diecast comes from just being around him and going to the races more. When I was younger, more along the lines just spending time with my dad because he worked all the time, but grew to love it, and iRacing just helps, and it kind of helps me with any type of stress or work stress I got to get through.
Well, I know we all have a number of us did that exact same thing. We saw what was happening during COVID and said, hey, I'd like to get involved in that. I know that's one of the reasons why I got involved. But that's great. So what do you think for tonight? This is a unique track, but this used to be the way that the regular season wrapped up. What do you think about Homestead?
I think I said it in the interview last week. I like this track in every car but this. Even before I worked on my craft or got any experience running iRacing, I won some races I probably shouldn't have here in trucks and Xfinity. Next gen, a whole different story. I guess I'll just try to keep, like I said earlier, I'll keep the keep the car under me and be there at the end to give it a shot there. But it's a multi-lane track. I'll be at the bottom most of the time. It's where I usually run all the time to conserve tires and fuel. The shortest way around the track is at the bottom, and I'll go up when I need to once I feel a little bit more comfortable, and I know that the won't be doing it on cold tires, I'll tell you that. But once I get everything situated and once I feel a little comfortable, you'll see me start pushing the envelope a little bit. But like I usually do, I'll hopefully have a decent qualifying, probably qualify 3rd through 6th, and ride around and just keep myself clean. Hope I don't get any incidents. Hope the other 3 do, and just be at the end if not, and hope to be able to race the 3 other finalists, the final 4 at the end. Put on a good show for everybody.
Absolutely. So we're talking earlier about some stats we saw. Just pulling up, while you did have that one win this season, but just super consistent, 10 top 5s, 13 top 10s, really for this season. So really good, consistent work here.
Yeah, just take out I think I had a total of 10 points after 4 races. So I'm not even joking. I didn't get any points in Daytona. I think I got 2 for it was bad. Me and Chris were in a chat end of last week, and he didn't believe me until I showed him. I literally had 10 points after 3 or 4 races. So, that's what I strive for. I guess today will be a little different because there is no next week. So if I'm gonna, those cases during the season where we're 3 wide, and I said, you know what, today, not today. What do you say to death? Not today. I back out. Today it's probably, it will be today, I guess. So I'm usually a conservative driver, not conservative, but if there's a spot I should be in, I'll let people go. Tonight after lap. How many laps is it? 120, I think.
Yeah, we
Uh,
definitely. Yep, you've got
Yeah.
125 laps tonight.
125. So beyond 90, you're not going to see me let off in certain. I'll put my nose where it needs to be, and I'll try to create a hole if I have to, but cleanly. But I won't be as passive aggressive as I usually am.
Right. All right. So that's Chuck Van Scoik. That's Garrett Johnston, Lilith Peters. The only driver we are missing is Chris Worrell. We haven't seen him yet in the broadcast waiting booth, but once we try to get him, John, any luck in getting him to come up to the booth?
I'm trying to make some progress here. It's slowly working. I thought I may have had it. I don't know if I do.
I think we
No,
sent.
not quite.
No, we did send someone down to try and retrieve him.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, hold on. I may have gotten it. Hold on. Here we go.
There we are. All right. We welcome Mr. Chris Worrell to the broadcast booth. Chris, congratulations, and about to get this final race underway.
Yeah, here it is. What we've all been waiting for.
Well, we appreciate you taking a few minutes before we get this underway, and just we're trying to do is get a little bit of a feel for, who people are. Tell us a little about first. Where are you from?
I'm from Suffolk, in Virginia. It's in the Hampton Roads area.
Nice. All right.
Yes, sir.
And how did you get started in iRacing?
My buddy Dennis Nickel kept, he's a big race fan, also fellow game enthusiast. Kept telling me about, just how cool this simulation was. And, I grew up playing on my uncle's flight simulator game with his little joystick. So simulation was always on my mind. Got a gaming PC. I don't even think it was a gaming PC. I think it was just like a little laptop that would practically only let me run street stocks. So I started there with an Xbox controller, and got really good on Xbox controller and won a lot. So it got to the point where I was like, well, let's see, what I can do on a wheel. And I got my wheel. Well, that happened in 2014. Then I got my wheel in 2017. And just never looked back. Just been having fun since.
Well, we were just kind of recapping some of the stats. Obviously, you've had a fabulous season 4 here with 8 wins, 13 top 5s, 14 top 10s here, and leading the points. But now it's almost, this is the last event. It all just comes down to you and your 3 competitors here duking it out for some rather big dollars to close out this season.
Yeah, the money to me is not as important as getting the championship, and I'd really like to get that die cast to be, first and foremost. But I think it's been a fun season. I've definitely won some I shouldn't have, and lost some that I should have won, I feel. And not like you said, it comes down to this. Got a great top 4. Everybody in the league are truly just good people, fun to hang out with, fun to race with. So I'm hoping that we can get something like Las Vegas, and it'll just go green the whole way, and us 4 can duke it out for the championship. I feel like if none of us get wrecked out and we all have a fair shot at it, I think I'll be happy with whomever wins it. So, I prefer I win it, but obviously,
Well, we appreciate your good
just looking for a nice clean race.
All right. Well, that's Chris Worrell, and you did mention the diecast. Goat Racing and Goat Racing Diecast is part of our sponsor here within the league. We certainly appreciate what they do as well as what they offer to anybody in the listening audience who happens to go out. There's some discounts that are out there. You can go on the website. There's lots of diecasts that you may be interested in, and obviously if you're interested in something that isn't on the website, I'm sure you can message them and they can find it for you. And as you heard Chris indicate, there's some custom diecasts that are out there for our championship winner. All right, folks, I know you've got only a few minutes left, just a minute and a half before you go to qualify. Thank you so much for joining us here in the booth. we'll let you get at it, and we look forward to talking to you at the end of this event.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Have
guys.
fun in the booth.
Thanks.
Good luck to everyone else.
All right.
Alrighty, we appreciate all those drivers coming in here and giving us a piece of their time from their practice. We know that practice means a lot for these drivers, and getting out there and trying to run some laps is always important. So
See if you
appreciate
can,
each and every one of them.
yeah, see if you can move Chris. I don't think I have the ability to do that.
Yeah, I'm struggling with it too.
Chris,
I was gonna do it. I was gonna do it as soon as this practice session ended. Just trying to get it all in if I could.
okay.
Go ahead.
Don't
go
mind
ahead.
me. I'll just be quiet
All
for
right.
a second.
Very good. All right, so here we go. 30 seconds left. In the meantime, let's jump on. John, we didn't cover your keys for tonight's race, but why don't you go ahead and tell us what your thoughts are?
Sure. Yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and spill my keys. So tonight's race at Homestead is one where you can definitely get caught up in things that you don't want to get caught up in, and that starts with starting out front. I think you have to have track position here at Homestead. That's first and foremost. So track position is number one. Number two, I think tires, especially with the low line, the high line that all of these drivers are eventually going to run. You may see some tire wear and some comers and goers in the beginning of the run, at the end of the run, depending on where they run at on the actual track. So you may see some guys start from the bottom to migrate up to the top. You may see vice versa. So focusing on managing your tires is number two. And number three, it's going to be the multiple lanes. This track is very friendly to the low lane, to the high line. A lot of drivers like to run that high line. So between staying up at the front, having that track position, managing your tires, and also utilizing and leveraging the high line at times, the low line, and knowing when to do that, those are my three keys for, if anybody, those championship four to lock their ticket into winning the Tech4Troops Cup Series championship. So we'll see what happens as we see John Ledger along the high side. There's Chuck right there. He's making his way around, getting ready for some qualifying here at Homestead. While these drivers are qualifying, Rick, let's go ahead and see if we can bring up some of the track facts for tonight. Like we've already mentioned before, this race is going to be 125 laps. Lovely temperature on the track here tonight. That's always good to have the track temp near the air temp. Pit road speed, 50 miles an hour. No quick repairs, as always. 5 sets of tires and 50% fuel. 3 green-white checkers is typical here as well. And this 1.5 mile track that doesn't run like a typical 1.5 miles, but it's an actual 1.5 miles in distance. So, Rick, I gotta say, what would be your strategy for tonight's race if you were starting up near the front?
Jeez, I'll be honest. There are tracks I just love on the NASCAR circuit. This is not one of them. For some reason, this track has been my nemesis. It's just different. That turns 1 and 2 are just drive different than 3 and 4, and if you got that, you got a little bit of a push. That outside wall just comes up fast. In 4. So, my goal would be, like you heard Chuck say in the pre-race, is to stay out of trouble, conserve tires, stay low, and have enough stuff at the end to come around and make it work.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I agree. I think it's going to be one of those races where you have to have all those things play into factor. I think we're going to see some green flag action here. Lilith Peters tops the board. Peters is now in P1. James Lowe 2, Chuck Van Scoyk 3rd, John Ledger in 4th, as we have just a little bit of time left here.
Yeah, a couple minutes left in qualifying.
Yeah.
But so we'll see how it all plays out. Looking forward to these guys getting on the track and showing us what they've got here as we wrap up season 4. we're on a little bit early. Some of you may have been joining saying, hey, what's going on? Feel free to go back to the recording and maybe you can play back some of the interviews that we had with the final four drivers, just giving us a little bit about their history, where they come from, what part of the country that they're from, because that's the beauty of iRacing. You've got people internationally that get to compete just like it's, like they're right next door. That's the benefit of something like iRacing and the family and the community that it brings together.
Exactly. And that's also the thing about it is, you can race from anywhere in the world on any car you want, on any track you want, and it costs you, I don't even want to say a fraction. I mean, like 100th or 1,000th of what it would cost to actually run a similar car or anything like that. So it really makes racing at a very high competitive level and a realistic level possible for a lot of people who may not want to take the risk of driving their own car, or, frankly, spend the money on, building out a car. So it's a great platform. We can't speak of it enough. We've always spoke very highly of iRacing, what they've been able to do in their progression over the years, and we're excited to see what is yet to come here. You never know. Maybe we'll get some rain within NASCAR, and maybe that wet weather package make its way over to the Cup Series.
I think that's something that we may see in the coming seasons for sure. They've really begun to introduce some cool features. So we're wrapping up. The qualifying is coming to an end, and we'll be able to bring you that grid momentarily, and we'll get this event underway. So again, thank you again, not only for tuning in to tonight, but all season long. We've had this great core of folks that have watched and paid attention to what was happening and got involved in our YouTube and our Twitch and X platforms and responded back. We certainly appreciate you. And for all those who have watched later on or maybe watching this under replay, we really thank you for tuning in. You've made it very special. And we look forward to seeing you next season, because season 5 will kick off September 14th.
Gotcha.
All right, it looks like we are getting ready, and as soon as we can, we will bring you that grid. All right, we got the grid.
All righty, here we go. On pole for tonight's season finale is going to be Chris Worrell in the number 1, with his teammate James Lowe starting in 2nd, Lil Peters starting in 3rd, Chuck Van Squeek starting in 4th, Garrett Johnston starting in 5th. So all championship drivers starting in the top 5. Nothing atypical. We've seen that before. John Ledger starting in 6th, Ty Bostic in 7th, Justin Horton in 8th, Mike Slavker in 9th, and Philip Vandertwick rounds out the top 10.
Aaron Jackson is in 11th. Cody Sturgill is in 12th. In 13th, you got Sammy Harrell. 14th, Marco Berube. 15th is David Watts. 16th is Bobby Gibson. Christopher Howell in 17th, and Zach Allen in 18th. That is our grid.
That's our 18-car grid for tonight's race. And you're probably like, well, that's a little bit smaller grid than we've seen before. Well, it happens. At the end of the season, really what matters most is people who, want to come out and simply run in a race. And the second half are going to be, or the second group of people are the championship 4. So they're going to want to come out here and potentially win a championship for themselves, for their team. So excited to have every driver out here tonight. So thank you all for participating. And it'll be a great race to watch as the field now is ready to get on track.
Got some cool paint schemes tonight. I know these drivers were and have been excited about how they wrapped up the season with their paint schemes. They, in partnership with Tech4Troops, there's a lot of awards that go out for the drivers' paint schemes and how they best represent Tech4Troops. So absolutely.
Exactly.
Yep.
And Rick, we can't ask for a better finale. All the championship drivers up there in the top 5 here, so we'll see.
Yeah, and John, I misspoke. Our next season is not September 14th. It is August 14th.
August 14th makes a little bit. I was like, wow, we're waiting a little bit of time. 2 months.
Yep.
2 months there. Well, if you're interested in running in the Tech4Troops Cup Series, make sure to come out to some recruitment races, which we will be announcing here sometime very soon. But here we go. Pace car drops off for the last time this season. Green flag in the air for the Tech4Troops Season 4 finale is underway.
As expected, there were 2x2 for a bit here, but eventually these drivers will try to figure out their best way around. This is a wide track. There are multiple lanes. You can figure out the best way, what runs best for you, but got to be careful. This is one of those tracks where that safer barrier already, car in the wall. I think that's David Watts, I think.
I think so. He is completely broke that right front. Is the left front broke too?
I don't know. We're staying green, though. It was a hard hit, but unfortunately, I think he is already going to retire. I think Marco Berube may have also been involved in that, but we have staying green here.
Tough break. Tough breaks for those drivers.
Marco was going in. Let's go back to see what happened with David Watts. Not exactly sure just what happened there, but definitely some damage on that car.
Definitely.
All right. Unfortunately, an incident on the first lap has basically sidelined, I think, David Watts in the 54 for sure. We'll see what happens with the 99 of Marco Berube if he does come back out.
We will see, but what we do see is that's a replay, actually, I think, Rick. Or are they in 1 and 2 right now? Or are they in 3 and 4? There we go. I was like, wait a second. I'm seeing two different things. Right now we got Chris Morrell out front with Peters in second, Lowe in third, and we have the rest of those playoff drivers trying to battle back up there. You have Garrett Johnson and Chuck Van Scoik.
It's like
the 07.
Yeah, he's making a move. So we're just right now 4 laps in.
Four laps into tonight's race. And who else? James Lowe out front, or excuse me, my goodness, Chris Morrell, I cannot read. Chris Morrell out front, James Lowe in second there. Two teammates with Rick. We've seen these guys at the front of the pack almost every single race. These drivers, specifically for Chris and James, truly know how to manage a race together.
Yeah, absolutely. They sure have good strategy. And that's one of the things we'll definitely try to figure out here. It is a 1.5 mile track or so. So, you know, we should see green flag pit stop somewhere lap 35, somewhere in there, John?
Yep, I calculated about 35 laps on a tank of gas, which means you got to pit at 35, 70, 105. You should be able to go to the end of the race. So at least 3 pit stops.
Yeah, and this is one of those tracks where you have to get into pit road, I think off of turn 3.
Yep, oh, contact. Garrett Johnston there. I believe that was Garrett Johnston, the 01, the 23, and the 19 of John Ledger, who pushes his way to third. But yes, that is correct. I believe they have it set up to where you have to enter in through 3. If not, it'll be out of 4.
Good battle. John Ledger has kind of moved himself up into third right there behind James Lowe and Chris Morrell. That's a little bit of a breakaway of those 3 cars, but then they split apart. Very interesting approach. Chris Morrell dives down low. James Lowe takes that middle line, and they come back together. And that's another example of how this track with its multiple lines, really, you can adapt it to your style of driving.
Exactly, and that's what makes this racing so much fun. You can adapt it to however you want it to be. You can wear out more tire if you want. You can wear out the least amount of tire you want. It's literally Homestead Miami Speedway is your oyster. You can do whatever you want with it. And you can see right there John Ledger all the way up in the high line. He's been running that line every single race. So you see the 01 go really high out of the corner, slide up, and Sladker's right there. You can see Sladker now go to the high side in that Lucas Oil number 14. See what happens here out of the corner. The 14 should have the run out of the corner. He does have the car.
Get boxed
very
in, though.
Close.
Yeah, 14 wound up being boxed in by the 20 of Garrett Johnston. No way to go. But about this time, 10 laps in, you're going to begin to feel your tires, depending on how you're running them, kind of slip away from you.
Exactly. That is exactly correct. And this is where we're going to start to see some of these drivers start to get a little bit antsy when it comes to how they're driving. So we will see what this looks like once they start to get a little wear and who starts to come to the front, who starts to go to the back, as we see the field start to condense for the top 6 cars, but all the top 10s right there.
I was going to note that Aaron Jackson in that GOAT Racing 18 Ford Mustang just ran the fastest lap of the day up a 32.75, which was pretty much, right up there with qualifying speeds.
Wow, that's impressive. That is impressive.
Back up front, Chris Morrell continues to lead. James Lowe is there in second. John Ledger in third. Mike Slagner has moved his way around and now up. And going back to what we've talked about last few races, Mike Slagner has been one of those guys. We've seen Mike racing here in this league for a few years now. He's just continuously gotten better and better.
Oh, yeah, he's been one of the most improved drivers this entire time. I cannot speak high enough of Mike. It's a pleasure to have him a part of the league, and I think next year he could be battling for a series championship run. I really believe it.
Mike maintains one of the highest I ratings in our league. We've seen him consistently creep up and improve his racecraft over the years, and I don't doubt it.
Rick, as it stands, your top 5: Chris Harrell, James Lowe, Mike Slatker, John Ledger, Garrett Johnston, right there.
Someone's trying to correct us on YouTube, but I don't speak whatever they're saying on how to correct the pronunciation of Mike's last name. Do I have it wrong?
We've always said Slatker, right?
Yeah.
Slogter?
I don't know. Well, if Mike, we'll get it a little conversation with Mike afterwards. If we are mispronouncing his name, we've probably been doing it that way for 3 years now.
Yeah, I mean, if it was that big of an issue, as somebody who always has their last name mispronounced, I think somebody would have said something. So I think Mike is totally okay with it. But either way, Slotker, tomato, it happens. But we will get that corrected for sure if need be. But right now, he is currently running in P3, trying to make his way around James Lowe.
He's trying. We're watching the number 14 Lucas Oil Chevy try to slip under the 07, but the 19 is right there on the outside, almost 4 wide. That 20 of Garrett Johnson was kind of poking his nose down that low line. He may have heard Chuck talking about that in the pre-race, that that's exactly what he was going to do. So we actually have been corrected. It is Slogter.
Interesting. Well, Mike, we apologize, good sir.
From all of us to you, we'll do better.
We will. So Mike Slotker there That's going to take some used to.
Slaughter.
Yeah, as he now is trying to battle right alongside John Ledger in the 19. William says, you always do an amazing job with Chuck's name. It is Van Scoik, right?
It is, absolutely. Yep, that is correct.
Okay. I'm about to say, I know that one for sure.
So, but we learned the hard way. We learned, we need to go back. We had a fairly successful podcast as part of this channel. Life kind of got in the way. We'll see what we can do, maybe bringing it back. But we had Chuck on, and he helped us to better pronounce his name.
And he's been one of the best drivers all season long, but right now, unfortunately, he's sitting there in P9th. But, could that be strategy? Could that be him just minding his business, just hanging out, not pushing too hard?
I think that's exactly what this is.
Yep.
Here we are, lap 20 is in the books. Chris Worrell leading, his teammate James Lowe in second. John Ledger in third, Mike Slaughter in fourth, Garrett Johnson in fifth, Lilith Peters in sixth, Aaron Jackson now +4 up to seventh, Justin Horton in eighth, Chuck Van Scoik in ninth, and Phil Vandertwick in 10th. Good, consistent, clean racing so far.
It has been, and that's all you can ask for. We are now 21 laps into this race. Going by fairly quick, but we're going to start seeing some pit stops here within the next 15 laps, I'd imagine.
Looking back at the 23 of Chuck Van Scoik as he is making his way around. He's got the 39 of Justin Horton in front and to the outside, and behind him you've got the 48 of Philip Vandertwick right there. Ty Bosick not far behind. Chuck has a number of drivers that are all part of that GOAT Racing team, but also he's got the affiliations, the 43 team. Those are all GOAT Racing guys, well represented here. Some great racers that have continuously showed up week after week.
They have, and they've been, great all season long. They've been a great team, and they've always battled back from adversity, and they always seem to be around each other too. If you notice that Aaron Jackson's right behind him, and you're like, well, how do you know whose car is who? Well, if it has the GOAT Racing logo on the front hood, which is hard to miss, you'll see it. So right there you see the 23, you have Aaron Jackson back there as well. A little bit further on back, you have Sammy Harrell and Cody Sturgill. Looks like Mike Slaughter got a little bit high out of turn 4.
Yeah, he's
that brings to 29.
The
39 there.
Yeah, he slipped back to 6th. But we expected that. This is now lap 24, which means you've got some heat in your tires, you've got some wear in your tires. Things just are, that car you're driving just a little bit different.
Yep, it is going to be a little bit different for sure. And that's expected here, especially at Homestead, like I mentioned before in the pre-race. It's a wild track to drive because you are constantly battling the car and making a decision about where to go. You can run the high line, you can run the low line. A lot of people like to run the high line like Mike is doing there. John Ledger has been doing it. Right there you can see him as well in 1 and 2. Then in 3 and 4, it's kind of a mixed bag. You have people who like the low line, people who like the high line. See right there, Mike and Justin like the high line. As we see the 01 trying to make way up through the race and see potentially sitting right there in P5 with Garrett Johnston. Again, those are 2 playoff drivers. 2 championship drivers trying to catch the 06 of Chuck Van Scoik.
All right, Chris Worrell and James Lowe continue to lead this race. John Ledger, a solid third. John's done great all race. Both Peter is up to 4th. Garrett Johnson is now in 5th. And you've got Chuck Van Scoik right there, barking right behind them, working his way up. Not far away from our first round of green flag pit stops, which we expect will really separate this field. And that's, I think that's part of it. We see the 39 all the way up and tags the wall. That's the 39 of Justin Horton. That's probably your first indication that your tires have gone away.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. So we'll see where these drivers end up.
We're watching the 39 a bit here because I will tell you from personal experience that when you have lost the grip, it is like, it just makes driving here so miserable.
Oh yeah, it's like you're on ice. It's like you're on ice and you don't know where to go and you're getting frustrated and your tires are overheated and they don't have any grip, so you try to put your car into place but it doesn't like it, then it's just an endless cycle until you would have to basically just be like, okay, I'm going to battle this car until we come down pit road next. And that's sometimes what you see. Some of these drivers end up just absolutely wheeling their car and dirt tracking it out of the corner just to save it so they don't get involved in anything. So we'll see what happens here with pit stops coming IS way here at about 6 laps.
Looks like David Watts is back out on the track. He's got the repairs.
That's a great sign.
Yeah, got some repairs made. One of the things you can do as part of here on iRacing is that you can go into the pits just as if you were in real racing, and they will fix that bodywork and repair some of that damage. As long as it's not engine damage, you can probably get right back out. Big gap here. Bring up that gap information here with Chris Worrell and James Lowe. They're just over a full second between Lilith Peters and John Ledger. Zach Allen is now on pit road, so we may begin to see. And there you go. There you got your leader now on pit road.
Yep, coming out of turn 4, makes the commitment cone, should be fine. I'll be paying attention to any penalties that might be incurred. But hopefully not. Hopefully nobody has any penalties.
It's not just got to
make their way down.
Bunch of guys on pit road. Worrell, Ledger, Slogter, Howell, Sturgill, Gibson, all on pit road.
All right, this is definitely going to be a 4-tire change. No way anybody's going to do a 2-tire change. Not this early in the race, for sure.
Watching the times. Rest of the field now finds themselves coming down pit road. Here you got James Lowe leading them down. You've got Lilith Peters, Garrett Johnson, Justin Horton, Sammy Harrell, Philip Vandertwick, and Aaron Jackson. Here in Homestead, under the lights for this night race. This is our first night race of the season, John?
First one. That is correct. First one.
There we go. And here comes the Chuck Van Scoik of Goat Racing and Ty Bostic. I think they are the last 2 drivers to make their way down onto pit road.
I would agree. I think you're correct.
All right. Well, 35 laps in the book, just about when we were anticipating this group to come down onto pit road. And with that, we'll take an opportunity for a quick commercial break. You won't miss a thing. We'll go side by side. So thank you again for tuning in to the IWM Broadcast Network. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Jack Raymondson. I manage business development here at Tech4Troops. and I'm my second year with this amazing veteran nonprofit owned and operated by veterans for veterans. I served in the U.S. Marine Corps as an amphibious assault crewman from 1992 to 1996. I also served in the U.S. Coast Guard from 2002 to 2007, joining after 9/11 as an operations specialist, then serving as an instructor at Coast Guard Training Center, Yorktown. I also spent many years as a first responder volunteering as an EMT and fireman. I'm here at Tech4Troops because I believe in our mission to empower veterans and their families with the gift of computers and technology training, as well as our outreach to help curb veteran suicide while providing a safe and meaningful community where veterans are treated with respect and dignity. We are aiming for zero veteran suicide through gaming and other program opportunities. We help veterans regain a new sense of purpose and help them see they have a brighter future ahead of them. It truly is an honor and my pleasure to serve my fellow veterans and help give them a leg up. 2024 is Tech4Troops' 10th anniversary year, and I ask that you help us support our veterans and their families with a computer donation and or greatly needed financial contribution so we can help every last veteran in need. Together, you and Tech4Troops can be change makers. Thank you.
All right, welcome back to the Tech4Troops Cup Series season finale, brought to you by Tech4Troops and Goat Diecast Racing. We appreciate you tuning in tonight to our live broadcast here, but this is where it all comes down. 4 drivers have clawed their way through. They were successful. They made it through the playoffs. That's Worrell, Peters, Johnson, and Van Scoik. You can see them on the tower there. If their name is highlighted in blue, those are your final 4. The winner takes home a nice pot of cash and a custom diecast that is made to basically recreate what they're driving on the track.
Hey, that is probably one of the most unique things you could ever get, is a custom diecast of your own car. I know if I ever had one made, I mean, I would just absolutely just die with it. It'd be fantastic. It's so cool because they can get it down to literally the specs. And my guess, I just say I think it'd be really cool if it was like a raced version, you know, not just the paint scheme, but how the car actually looked at the end of the race, you know, a race to win championship car, you know, just throwing out there, sorry, Chuck, and making your life a little bit harder than it already is. But hey, if you win, you can do it for yourself there, Mr. Van Scoik. So
yep, there you go. Well, after our first round of green flag pit stops, Chris Worrell maintains the lead. James Lowe, his teammate, is solidly in second. Third place right there is Lilith Peters, who really did pretty well as the result of that stop. She came right back and has closed that gap. Garrett Johnson is there in fourth, and Chuck Van Scoik. So pretty much how we qualified, how we restarted, is exactly how we gridded up.
well, you know, that's not a bad thing. That means that these drivers out front are at the front for a reason.
Just going down through the gaps, I'll bring up our gains right now. Right now, it looks like the biggest mover right now is Christopher Howell. He was back there, I think, in 17th when he qualified. He's now up to 11th, and unfortunately, Ty Bosick, I guess conversely, has lost 6 spots. He's now back in 13th. He qualified 7th.
And one thing I do want to talk about really quick is specifically thinking about drivers and how they did in the regular season. Rick, you know, we had some amazing things happen here in the Tech4Troops Cup Series. One of those being wins. People like to win, right? Well, a driver who loved to win was Mr. Chris Worrell. 8 wins in 18 starts. That means he's won 50% of the races, 13 top 5s, 14 top 10s, and he's leading this one. And, you know, that's not by any, mistake of its own. So he's there at the top. You had Lilith Peters, 4 wins, 9 top 5s, 13 top 10s. And then looking back at the other championship drivers, Chuck Van Scoik as well, 1 win, 10 top 5s, 13 top 10s. Garrett Johnston, 1 win, 8 top 5s, and 10 top 10s. notice one thing: they had double-digit top 10s and very close to double-digit top 5s, and that's a trend that I saw with all these championship drivers. So shout out to those guys. But I mean, Chris Farrell winning 50% of the races almost. That's absolutely wild to see and watch, and amazing to call.
Absolutely, and some of the fun thing, you know, and talking with Chris, you know, he certainly, it wasn't like he did it aggressively. Well, you know, he put himself in position to win nearly at every single event.
He did. He definitely did, and it was amazing to watch. It was absolutely phenomenal to watch.
And even when there, you know, we did have in some races where, you know, he may have gotten into somebody unintentionally. He felt bad about it, you know, and he intentionally dropped himself back and then battled back cleanly to try and get back up to the front. So, you know, really good sportsmanship, and not only, you know, for Chris, but what we've seen throughout the entire series. And I'll hazard to say we've been covering this league like this for, again, it's our 4th season of doing this. You know, we've been so fortunate. The drivers that come out week after week who stay engaged have just been great people.
Great people and great racing. And that's, I think, what makes the Tech4Troops Cup Series the Tech4Troops Cup Series. Supporting Tech4Troops in all their efforts with veterans and technology, and, you know, everybody a part of the league, the IWM, you know, network, and the admins, and everybody who's the drivers, the people who watch, everybody that makes this, you know, fun and worth doing. We want to say thank you to everybody. And again, like I mentioned it in the pre-race, if you're interested in joining, make sure to come out and reach out to us about joining some of the recruitment races. We're always looking to bring in some new talent to challenge the drivers of Chris Farrell and Lilith Peters and Garrett Johnson and Chuck Van Scoik. So make sure you can find us on iRacing at, I believe is it under Tech4Troops or is it under IWM, the league itself?
I think it's under IWM. So
yep. So you can,
you know, iRacing,
yeah, you can,
Warrior Motorsports.
Yep, I believe that's true, and you can find there and request to join, and we'll be holding recruitment races and give that schedule out very, very soon. Really quick, though, we have a big battle now starting to form at the front of the field between Chris Farrell, James Lowe, Lilith Peters there. They are battling side by side. You saw the 07 alongside his teammate of the 06, now battling with the 01 of Peters. And right behind them, you have Garrett Johnston, who is looking to pounce. Oh, closed the door almost, was at the 07 on the 20, but they make their way through.
Good driving by Garrett Johnson, moving up. That battle at the front between the 06 and 07 really allowed that 20 to close the gap and move his way up there. Now it comes down to what line are you going to run? How aggressively are you going to drive? Lilith Peters, you see her driving down and aggressively making a move, and that has paid off. She's right there on the back bumper of that 06 by Chris Farrell.
Exactly.
Try and get the gap information posted. So you can see that there's a little bit of gap back there with the 5th place driver of Chuck Van Scoik. He's about a second and a half behind these leaders, but there's just a heck of a battle going on up front. While Chris continues to lead, he's got lots of competition right there between his teammate and the Kaiju Cat driver of Lilith Peters. Now right there, door to door with the 7. Little loose.
Just a little
slightly
bit
loose. 07 taking advantage of that, drops down underneath. 01 goes high.
That 01's going to have a run. out of the corner. And there it is. Big run. May try to go low now on Chris Farrell going into turn 1. Decides to go low, but Chris gave the 01 the bottom lane.
Yeah, there's plenty. They pitted last on lap 31. We should be seeing lap, or 32, so we should be seeing within 10 laps. These drivers coming in for their second round of pit stops. Seeing a few drivers already on pit road. Now these multiple lines that they're taking, there is definitely some strategy at play here, how they attack this track, you know, with just, oh, super loose with Peters.
Oh, still loose.
Well, there's not much life left in these tires with just maybe 6 or 7 laps left in them. And if you've been aggressively going after, charging up to the front, you know, you've got even less life. And you know, that car is really going to push being super loose.
Exactly. That's a tough part about it is how far do you push? How far do you push your car right now, knowing that we have pit stops coming in the next, 5 to 10 laps, and that's the big question. That's always the $1 million question. How hard do you push? Because here's the thing, these cars are fairly sensitive. So when you start to overheat your tires, you're going to feel the effects for a little bit, and that's where some drivers make mistakes. So we'll see right now who decides what to do. But all I got to say is the top 4 right now are almost under a blanket when it comes to how I see their tires performing. The 01 is the only one that I've seen that has slid up consistently, so maybe she's battling the car just a little bit more than Garrett and James and Chris, but we'll see now.
Yeah, I felt it was a pretty aggressive, the 01, the 06 super loose.
06 definitely loose there out of the turn 2, something that is, of course, very typical here at Homestead. See the 01 go all the way to the top line, trying to get that run down the front stretch, trying to catch the back of the 06. As we see the 06 go a little low now, a little loose again. So is the 01 loose? Oh, tags the wall.
I go, this battle that's been going on up front has allowed the 23 to close the gap. See, now the 23 is already back on the tail of the 20. He is now about to try and work his way around. Chuck is kind of playing possum back there, kind of saving his tires, saving his stuff to try and make a run here.
And that's one of his specialties is Chuck's been able to navigate throughout the entire season his tires very well and manage his tires and not push too hard. So we'll see how that continues as now the 20 clears the 23 to secure 4th place again. But that 23, better watch out. He's on the move.
Yeah, and he's got another slight advantage. He pitted 1 lap later. So he's got that in his back pocket. But these top 5 have kind of separated themselves over the field.
They have. So right now, we are just a few laps away from pit stops. Who's going to be that first taker down pit road? Looking at some of the leaders, everybody is on 32 except for Chris Farrell at 30 and Chuck Van Scoyk at the 23. They both came down on 31 and 33. So I anticipate everybody pitting around the same time or within a lap of each other.
On board right now with Chris Farrell. Figuring he is going to be running down pit road momentarily. And I didn't realize, and he's definitely having to shift. taking
Yeah, I know
advantage
that was
of.
talks.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were talks of that, I remember, last week. And so trying to figure out when the best shift point is. You know, it's all about trying to navigate your way through this race the best to use the least amount of gas possible and not burn up your tires. As the 06 gets loose, here comes the 01 down to the inside, battling now on lap 62. We'll see. The 01 does clear the 06, but that 06 is in that high line, so we'll see what he's able to do as the 01 tries to shut the door. The 06 is loose, not able to do it. New leader, Lilith Peters, the 01 machine.
2 drivers already in, Mike Slagter, John Ledger on pit road. Expect to see these leaders momentarily.
And here comes the 06 down on pit road.
Super
Again,
close.
probably going to be a 4-tire stop.
We'll stay with the driver as he completes his pit stop. You can see and feel what that driver's going through as he completes a pit stop.
And they're off.
All right, we expect to see the, well, as we talked about earlier, Chuck Van Scoik in that 23 pitted a little bit lap or two later in the rest of the field, which allowed him to now pit here on lap 65.
Exactly.
So James Lowe in the 07, the 23 of Van Scoik on pit road. Ty Bostic is now your current leader. Expect to see him down on pit road momentarily. Philip Vandertrick also on pit road. I think Ty is the only driver besides David Watts who has not come down for his second pit stop.
Well, you know, this could be a long run game here. This could be something where you may see these drivers try to pull out a long run strategy, and specifically the 22, obviously not battling for a championship, but hey, a win's a win. Doesn't matter how you get it, a win is a win.
Yeah, if you can stretch this out a bit, I'm not sure the advantage, but certainly it's there. I mean, if you figure 30, you can get, well, we haven't seen 35 laps. We've seen 34 for Bostic.
Right.
So this would put him at lap 100 for his final pit stop.
Well, that gets you to the end for sure with only 25 laps remaining after that. So it's not a bad call. Not a bad call at all.
All right, Chris Worrell back up front. Oh, Lil Peters dirt tracking it around that corner.
Oh, car on the wall. Don't know who that is. Is that the 23?
I think that's the 23 of Van Scoik. Tagged the wall.
Oh, no. No, it's the 07.
James
I think
Lowe.
it was the 07. Yeah, it's the 07
Oh, yeah,
for sure. That
he's-
23 is fine.
Yeah, he's got some front end damage.
Man, we have to go back and take a look at what happened there, Rick.
Oh, let's back that up just a little bit. Find the 07 here. Definitely some contact. We're behind the 07 of James Lowe. So it looks like the 01 was loose in front of him.
Yep.
So Lowe backs out of the throttle a bit. Maybe that causes the 07 to check up, and then he gets tapped from behind by the 20 of Garrett Johnson. Does his best to save it. Unfortunately, does tag the safer barrier. A little bit of nose damage there. '23 goes around the outside.
Tough break. Tough break.
He is now on pit road. All right, up front, the 01 has moved around, as has the 20, around the 06 of Worrell to take over the lead.
Wow. You look at that.
Yeah.
It's all the top four in the championship fight, all battling right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all right there in that shot.
All right, just coming up to the halfway point here. Lap 72. Lap is complete. And John, you're right. Top four.
Yeah, it can't get any better than that. So, looking at where these drivers are when it comes to potentially when their next pit stops are going to be, Chuck Van Scoy can go the longest. He can go 2 laps longer than Garrett Johnson and Chris Farrell. Lil Peters sneaks right in there with lap 64, lap pitted. So could this be Chuck Van Scoy sitting right there in the back, just kind of like almost like a super speedway, just managing his tires. Well, I guess you don't have to manage your tires on a super speedway, but just managing your time, just sitting back there, just seeing what all the other drivers are doing, just taking in some inventory about this individual driver runs at this part of the track and this part of the run. At least that's what I would be doing here, because he's sitting in a great spot to have a few lap fresher tires than the rest of the field that's in front of him.
Yeah, because that's what it comes down to a bit here. It's going to be tire management in these runs, because the math says you only need one more stop. They're going to stop somewhere around lap 100. They're going to get 4 new tires and some Sunoco fuel, and then they'll be back out here for the basically a 25 lap shootout.
Exactly.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We thank you again for tuning in to the IWM Broadcast Network of the Tech4Troops Season 4 finale. We appreciate you watching, and this race is rapidly winding down. We've just crossed halfway, but we'll be right back.
Hi, America. Mark Castro, President of Tech4Troops. I wanted to take a moment to say thank you for making 2023 such an amazing year. We completed our mission, and it feels good to have another successful year behind us. But I want to tell you, this year, 2024, is our 10th anniversary. 10 years of doing this mission, and you have been so supportive of us. So I want to take a moment to say, please continue to support us. We're going to have an event or more every month. Please stay tuned in our calendar. Please stay tuned on our social media. Join us in the celebration of our mission and what we do. And we look forward to seeing you and having your support for our mission of ending veteran homelessness through bridging the technology divide. Look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much.
All right, welcome back. Tech4Troops Cup Series Season 4 finale. Your leader, Lilith Peters, out front. Garrett Johnston in second. Chris Worrell in third. Chuck Van Scoy in fourth. Mike Slagter in fifth. As you can see by those pretty blue banners behind each of those drivers' names, those are our top 4, and they are running 1, 2, 3, 4 here at Homestead. Lap 79 in the books here. As we wind down, as we were saying earlier, we've just got one more stop to make. When they make it, it's anybody's guess, but sometime around lap 100, we know you can get 34 laps out of these cars. You don't want to go too early, but you don't want to be
go
late.
too early. Exactly what I was about to say. You know, if you're too early, you're gonna set yourself up for a very, very long run. But if you go too late, you may not have enough time to catch back up. So it's totally a matter of it's the whole cars in the wall. I believe it's the 06 and the 23. The cat and mouse game. So is with 45 laps to go, is the 23 not being aggressive enough? Is the 01 not being aggressive enough, pulling out to a bigger lead? Are they being too aggressive? I mean, we won't know. And that's the beauty of racing, especially at a caliber like this, where you have all 4 championship drivers out front. They are all battling their own strategies as well as trying to combat. 06 is loose, very loose on the inside. That's going to give 23 Chuck Van Scoik that spot for sure. 06 drops back down to P4 now.
Trying to battle back. Odd that happened. Was there contact?
No, I think he just kind of got loose on him.
Well, that happens at this track for sure. This track is. We jump in with the 23 of Chuck Van Scoik here. So this track just drives differently. Right now you're watching them. Chuck coming out of turn 4 will take us around this track.
Yeah, let's see how he manages this track, when he shifts, when he doesn't. It's always fun to watch.
You can hear him feathering the throttle out through 1 and then 2. And while that track map makes this look symmetrical, it doesn't drive symmetrical.
Not at all. Turn 1 and turn 2 are vastly different from turn 3 and turn 4. And a lot of drivers, when they're battling here for the first time, don't realize that. It's definitely a little bit of a learning curve when you first come to this track, because you don't really know how to drive it very well. And that's just the nature of the beast.
You can hear Chuck on and off that throttle.
And that's the biggest thing about this track, especially coming out of turn 2 like he is right now. You can put a little bit too much throttle into it and get extremely loose to the point where you will 100% spin out. You do not want that to happen, especially at this track. You saw what happened with Chris when he got loose. It's just a matter of, trying to battle your car.
Yep. Well, with 18 to 20 degrees of variable banking in these turns, it just certainly drives completely different. And the front and back stretch are relatively flat. Saw a little bit of contact there with the 20 in the safer barrier.
Hopefully able to keep back going. It's going to be, when you hit that safer barrier like we mentioned the first time, it's rough getting back going and getting your mind kind of clear of it. Like you mentioned before, it almost, it seems like it just kind of sucks you in and it won't let you go. And then you start thinking about it more, and it just throws you off your rhythm.
Just trying to look at the gap here. It looks like Lilith has really pushed out to just over a full second. So we're in the battle right now. If Lilith continues in that way, you've got 2, 3, and 4 back there, kind of huddled up, trying to figure out which way is best for them to get around, and then more importantly, get back up to the front.
And that's the biggest key, is how are you going to be able to get back up to the front when you have that happen. Here comes the 23 down to the inside of the 20 coming out of turn 2.
That's Chuck Van
He's gonna go make
Scoik in
that
the
pass.
23. Slips under the 20 of Garrett Johnson. For the moment, takes over that position, but the 20 will get a pretty good run. Oh, and he actually just nailed it. That 23 just works his way right there in front of the 20.
Well, as we thought, we knew Chuck can manage his tires, so he has one car to pass to get up to the lead here in tonight's championship finale. But don't look too far back. Here comes that 20, and the 06 is still right there.
Oh yeah, the 06
now going to the inside.
is not checked out for sure. He is absolutely battling, trying to get his spot back and get back up to the front. Now door to door with the 20 of Garrett Johnston. Chris Morrell finds himself on that low line with just 35 laps to go. We expect our last round of pit stops happening sometime in the next 10 laps. Now, one thing we did notice the last time we were watching the last round of pit stops, before that we saw as Lilith began to press, she got super loose. I'm wondering if she can maintain this delta between herself and the 23 of Van Scoik as this segment of the race winds down.
Maybe. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I mean, the gap's been kind of managed over the last little bit of time, 1.25 seconds. But again, gaps can close in a hurry. Gaps can sure close in a hurry.
07 utilizing that high line, probably cool off his tires, but still try to get some competitiveness to it. He has worked his way up to the bumper of the 23 and is trying to find his way around Chuck Van Scoik. Lilith continues to maintain that gap.
Yeah, about to say that gap is really, it came down a little bit there, especially out of the corner. So we may see Chuck have a little bit more, right there, gained quite a bit of time out of the corner. It looks like Lilith is better on entry. See the gap's going to rise just a little bit right here, but then at a corner exit, I think Chuck has the advantage.
6 laps to go before we begin to see some pit stops. We did see one early taker. Ty Bostic was on pit road. He came in early. That has worked for Ty in the past.
It has. It definitely has. It's a good strategy. It really is, and I like it. So we'll see if he's able to continue with that as this race goes on.
Mike Slagder and Justin Horton now on pit road. It seems a little early to me.
It does, but they could leapfrog some of these other cars.
Yeah, well, I think they've all got the message because Slagder, Horton, Howell, Harrell, Jackson, and Sturgill all on pit road.
Yep.
And now you're seeing the leaders come. This is, not the leader, but Worrell and Garrett Johnson both on pit road.
This is the money stop. This is the one that matters.
We're watching your leader, Lilith Peters, right now. Does she stay out? Does she come in? Looks like she's coming in.
Yep, here it is, the money stop.
Oh, she almost overshot the entry.
That was close.
We got a nose full of barrels if you hadn't figured it out.
Yeah, we haven't had to call the pesky marshals anytime soon, so hopefully we're able to stay away from that tonight.
Good idea. Yeah. So Chuck Van Skyke is the only driver who has not come down pit road. Well, I take that back. He is coming down now, as well as James Lowe. I think Philip is retired. So yeah, so right now everybody is coming down. Lilith stop is solid, 14.33. Actually, that's probably the best pit stop of the group right now.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best, actually.
Now here's the question: do you gamble?
No, you got to take 4 tires.
4 tires.
You got to take 4 tires.
Yep. Everybody
Yeah,
took 4 tires. 14.43 for Chuck, 1/10 longer to get out. Looking through the times, the best time was Aaron Jackson by 14.32.
Wow.
All right, but that stop put Chris Morrell back up to the front. Now it's a 27-lap drag race to the end.
It is, and this is where this race is going to get extremely interesting to see what the 01 can do. Can the 01 catch and get around that 06? What is the 23 going to do? Is the 23 going to have enough as the 20 goes around the 23? Looks like the 23 is dropping back fairly quickly as he is now 3 seconds back from the lead. 3.1, 3.2. Could he be saving a little bit?
Yeah, if I had to put my money on this, that's what I'm thinking. We've seen Chuck do this time and time again, but he's only got 26 laps.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. He does, and so you can't sit there and do that forever, you know.
No, what we have realized just in watching tonight's event is that with 26 laps to go, yeah, we're going to see fall off, and we're going to see tire wear and heat be a factor, but it's usually around 25 laps. So
exactly,
you know, you pretty much can just go right now to the end. I think that's what we're watching right here between the 06 of Worrell and the 01 of Peters. This is the race right here. And frankly, this has been the race all season.
It has. It's been the race the entire season. And I'm excited to see how it plays out. I mean, 2 of the best drivers won basically the most races combined. 12 races between them and 18 races. So pretty wild to see as we see the 01 trying to get along the outside here. Might have a run out of turn 2. Not quite there, though.
Well, and you're going to see that there will be a little bit of mirror driving here because if you need to block somebody, now is the time to do it.
Oh, yeah, you got to pull out stops right now. Oh, the 01's got to the inside. Almost contact made. Trying to side draft down the front stretch just as for the championship. Side-by-side racing now out of turn 1 and turn 2. Lilith nosing ahead. Lilith, though, won now in the point with 23 laps to go in tonight's race. Rick, I don't think this race is anywhere near over, but that 01, that was a power move right there.
And well, that was definitely a statement. She was able to try to find the right spot, work her way around, and then take over the position. Some solid driving by the 01 of Peters. Jumping back to the 23 of Chuck Van Skyke. Got some battles happening in front. That's the 07 of James Lowe. James is a lap down, but definitely he is battling tight against the 20 of Garrett Johnston. With just 21 laps to go here, our 4 playoff drivers are 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it looks a little bit different than it did just a few laps ago, but either way, the top 4 in the playoffs are still 1, 2, 3, and 4. See some side-by-side racing now. That's the 07 not battling for position. But that's the 07, the 20, and the 23.
Looking farther back, Mike Slagner's out there by himself, working his way around. Farther back, Justin Horton again. John Ledger, good showing by John. Sammy Harrell, who we were not sure if he was going to make tonight's race, was able to make it. Sammy's running in 8th. Aaron Jackson in 9th. Ty Bosick right there in 10th. And Cody Sturgill, also another GOAT Racing driver, is back there in 11th. Those drivers are all on the lead lap. All right, back up front, Lilith Peters has now moved out to about a 10-car breakaway over Chris Worrell.
Wow.
Yeah, that's huge. Back in third.
Is it going to be enough, though? Yeah, there's a 20 and the 23. Here's the gap now, 4 seconds. 4 seconds, Rick.
We'll keep an eye on that. We'll leave that on the tower, see if that changes over the next few laps. I don't know. I think you're just kind of stuck here as we watch Chris Worrell try to find a way to catch back up.
I mean, just looking at his lap times, Chris Worrell just ran his fastest lap of the race. So, if that tells you anything.
Yep.
And last lap, though, he was about a full tenth slower than the 01.
Wow.
But either way, 16 to go.
Just 16 laps to go before we wrap this up.
Yeah, 16 laps in this season, Rick. Could
Pretty
we
amazing.
go flag to flag?
We could. And on that note, we're going to take our final commercial break. Again, you won't miss anything. We'll be side by side. We will be right back.
Are you looking for a way to safely and securely dispose of your old electronic devices? Why not donate them to Tech4Troops? Tech4Troops is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to bridging the technology gap for in-need veterans and their families. The donation process is quick and easy. Simply go to tech4troops.org and click on the donate link at the top right-hand side of the page. Scroll down to access the Give Back Box link. To create your shipping label, click Add to Cart and complete the checkout process. The shipping label is good for up to 50 pounds. You can recycle most standard shipping boxes to send in your devices. Oh, don't forget the power cords. Give new life to your old technology by responsibly recycling with Tech4Troops. Help save the environment and support a veteran.
All right, 13 laps to go. Welcome back to the Tech4Troops Cup Series Season 4 finale. I'm Rick Souza here with my co-broadcaster, John DeRudris. We're so thankful that you're able to join us tonight. And as we bring you the Season 4 finale, and as we would have expected, the top 4 drivers are running now 1, 2, 3, and 4. Lilith Peters out front. Huge gap now.
Yep, 1.35 seconds and increasing. Garrett Johnston and Chuck Van Scoik battling side by side right now out of turn 1 or turn 2, excuse me. Now 5 seconds back. Neither one of those drivers are going to be able to catch them if they keep on battling side by side.
Now they need to tuck under one another and just figure out how to get up there, and they're now over 5 seconds back. It's not getting any closer to those leaders.
Nope, not at all. 11 laps to go. Gap has increased to 1.5 seconds now. We're watching the 23 and the 20 battle side by side out of the corner. Ooh, contact made. This is the closest battle on the track that we have, and obviously it's playoff drivers. Oh, Rick, there might be some contact at the end of this one.
They're definitely battling. I think that may have seen a little bit of a blip with the James Lowe 07.
Possibly. Yeah, the 20 and the 23 have not giving each other an inch right now. And they are now almost 6 seconds back of the leader. Not enough time, as you see the 23 trying to get around the 20. Oh, is this about? Yep, it happened. 23 now to P3. Not going to be good enough, but can he catch the 01 in 9 laps? You have to effectively basically make up half a second a lap, and I don't think he has the tires to do that. After battling side by side with the 20 for so long.
Yeah, I think he's burned up any bit of stuff he had left. He's hoping he can hold on to 3 here.
Yeah, and the gap is only increasing from Chris Farrell to Lilith Peters, 1.7 seconds now. Lilith now lapping over 0.2 faster a lap than the 06.
Barely see. Not sure we can see both cars in the frame. Lilith Peters nearly 2 seconds, really pulling away here with just 8 laps to go.
Just 8 laps to go, and I mean, I'm watching the lap time, seeing if they're going to steady out. Every time that Lilith lap slows, so does so does Chris's. So, I mean, it's definitely going to be a battle. The fastest lap actually out of the top 4 was Chuck that last time by. In 3rd place with a 33.1. Everybody else with a 33.3 for Chris, a 33.2 for Lilith, and a 33.4 for Garrett Johnston. So fastest car on the track actually is a 23 out of the top 4.
Peters, Worrell, Van Scoik, that's your top 3. Just 6 laps here to go at Homestead to crown your Season 4 champion. We're seeing some amazingly consistent driving by the 01.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been looking at the lap times. It hasn't really changed too much. Everybody else is, a 10th off, half a tenth here, but for sure the 01 has been the most consistent. And last time by, Chuck actually ran a faster lap than the leader too. So I think that battle with the 20 really hindered his results to potentially catch Lilith. But
I think the same thing with Worrell. He just, he burned up everything he could to try and stay up there with the 01, and he just burned up.
He did so with 5 laps to go. Your top 4, Lilith, Chris, Chuck, and Garrett. Lilith would be the champion if it all stays status quo. Last time by, 33.4. Oh, here we go. 33.496 for the leader. 33.498 for Chris Worrell. Was Chris Worrell playing the long game here? Can he catch Lilith with 4 laps to go? Gap is 2.17 seconds as we speak, and now it's down to 1.9, back up to 2.1. The gap is slowly going down, Rick. I'll give you the lap times at the line. 33 33.7 for, here we go, 33.7 for Lilith, 33.4 for Chuck, or excuse me, for Chris, with 3 laps to go. The gap is 1.8 seconds.
I think he waited too long to make his move.
I think so too. I mean, he's got to be pushing that car extremely hard right now. I just don't know if he has the car in it with just 3 laps to go. I will give you another lap time update at the line. At the line, Lilith had a 33.5. Chris had a 33.4. So he's making up time down to 1.7 seconds, but with 2 laps to go, he's got to be under a second by the next time they cross the line. And also, there is some lap traffic in front of the 01, but I don't know if that's going to hinder Lilith at all. Here we go. White flag in the air for the last time this season in Season 4. Lilith Peters has a 1.5 second gap now. Chris ran a 0.3 faster lap that time by. It might be a little bit too late here for the 06, but he's now within 1.4 seconds. 01 tags the wall. I don't think Chris is going to have enough time. Well, we're in Season 4, Rick, of the Tech4Troops Cup Series, and your Season 4 champion winning the race is going to be Lilith Peters, with Chris Farrell coming in second and Chuck Van Scoik coming in P3. Gap was 1.22 at the line, Rick.
Man. Exciting finish here at Homestead. It's exactly what we would have expected it to be here. Our champion, Lilith Peters, wins in fine fashion there. Bit of tap from the 06. Those two ran a great race tonight. And really, we've seen them battle just like that all season long.
All season long. And a championship goes to the 01. The Kaiju Cat Motorsports driver, rookie in the Tech4Troops Cup Series. He's going to bring home the championship and all the Foxfire food you could want. And I know the steak sauce, there's got to be something going on here. I mean, there's got to be free steak sauce. It's going to be a wild Kaiju Cat party after this one. But there's your final results. Lilith Peters bringing home your Season 4 championship with Chris in second, Chuck Van Scoik in third, Garrett Johnston in fourth, Mike Slotker in fifth, Justin Horton in sixth, John Ledger in seventh, Aaron Jackson in eighth, Sammy Harrell in ninth, and Cody Sturgill rounds out your top 10.
Finishing in 11th, James Lowe. 12th, Ty Bostic. Christopher Howell in 13th. David Watson in 14th. Phil Vandertwick in 15th. 16th is Bobby Gibson. In 17th, it's Zach Allen. In 18th, it's Marco Berube. All right. Waiting room is got some folks waiting. Go ahead, John. Bring them in.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and do that. Let's see if we can bring in our third place finisher here tonight. I believe that is Chuck Van Scoik. Chuck, welcome to the broadcast booth. We were watching you there battling with the 20 at the end of that race. Walk us through what happened. We saw you run a little bit faster than the 01, but at the end couldn't make your way up there.
Yeah, I just botched it. Perfect strategy. Came out of the pits. I got loose twice, lost about 4 seconds. In those combined 2 times, I had to save my car. Just pushed it a little too hard coming out of the pits. Then I was tucked behind Garrett and Lowe, hoping to catch up to them. And then, every time towards when I finally decided to pass Garrett, it was every time he was coming out of 2 and 4, he was either hitting the wall or getting loose. So I'd get a run and then he would pinch me, so the battle went on way too long. But, looking at the end results, I had the perfect strategy and I lost about 4 seconds probably in my stupidity, and that was the difference. So once again, I shot myself in the foot, but this season has been nothing but that. So I figured might as well finish with it, right?
Well, again, congratulations though on your P3 finish. They're not, with the 35 or so drivers that started out, top 3.
No, no, absolutely. I had fun. It's, like I said, it's totally on me on that one. And then what happened last year was on me in some Ford meeting like that. That was probably last year was my chance and should have been my championship this year. A little bit, I would say, and I don't know if you guys would agree, definitely raised talent in this season compared to last.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so I mean, it was good racing. And like I said, in the pre-race interview, I had the strategy. It came out because every time I ran 1 or 2 laps longer, the first time I came out, I was 2 seconds behind the leaders. And then the next pit run, I came back, I was a minute and a half, or a second and a half. That last pit, I came out, I was right there with 2 to 3 lap pressure tires.
Yep.
And and I could tell they had to save a little gas at the end because they were running like right on the number. So, because I think there was a couple laps there at the end, I was running 0.6 faster than them, so they were obviously trying to save a little bit.
Well, Chuck, it's been a pleasure covering you this season. Congratulations on your finish. Any shout outs tonight?
Yeah, to you guys, IWM broadcast, to John specifically. He helped me with my relaunch and cleaning up of my website at goatracingdiecast.com. And then to all my teammates. Most of them weren't here tonight. 3 of them weren't here tonight, but they've been solid and showing up all season, regardless if they like the track or not. So Sammy, CJ, Aaron, Christoph, Brian, and Maurice, appreciate them. And if you guys want to support them, there is a discount. Goat Racing and the number of my drivers, 843. Just go on the website, the homepage, it's on there, and just launched subscriptions today. And then finally, last but not least, the top 4, little congrats on the championship. Chris, it's got a sting dominating the season and, losing. I'll rub that in there. As much as I shot myself in the foot, that's got to hurt. And then to Elliot, man, he puts up with a lot of crap. I'm hoping to do more and more with him with my company and sponsoring. I already reached out to him about sponsoring the Dover race. That's my home track next year and doing something cool for that. So I'm already looking forward to it. And like I said, anything you guys need, Tech4Troops, that's another shout out there. They do great things, whatever they need. And obviously whatever Elliot needs, Go Racing Diecast, myself and the team is here to help out.
We appreciate that. All right, that's your 3rd place finisher, Chuck. And feel free to hang around. Go ahead and bring Mr. Worrell in. John?
Yeah.
Chris.
Alrighty, Chris Farrell. Can you hear us?
Hey there. What's up?
Well, congratulations on a great season. I know it's not the result you wanted, but walk us through the last portion of the race and how your championship finale race went.
Well, the last portion isn't where it hurt me. As you guys know, I didn't have a lot of time to do my homework for this race. With this new wheel, which it's awesome, and James told me that it was going to be a little bit getting used to, but between the wheel, the wheel ran great. I turned it up really high, and this thing, it will give you a workout. And that first run, I did really well, and I realized I was 2 point something seconds ahead of 3rd. And then I looked at my fuel tracker, and I'm like, man, now I've got to start saving, to make it to the end. In my pit stall, I have 0.1, estimated laps left. So I started saving that way, for those last 2 laps before I pit on that first run, I was clutching it. So all that time I had gained, I lost those 2 seconds that I had just because I needed to make it an extra lap or 2. That way I can make it to the end of the race, because if it went green the whole way, which it did, I wasn't going to make it without it. And, I really wish I would have taken it easier at the beginning of the race. That way I could have been on the same tire cycle as Lilith. I feel like I definitely had a better chance. She had a lap better tires, which if you know anything about iRacing, that's still a pretty good advantage. And I should have just chilled, lay back, and saved a little bit of fuel throughout those first runs or 2, and that way I could have had like I've done all season, just save and have the tires for the end, and I didn't do that. And on top of that, I kind of just had the biggest workout of my life with this wheel. I had that thing turned up so bad. As much as I wanted to win it, and trust me, I wanted to win it so bad. I was so glad to have that race over with because my freaking fingers and arms are just cramped up. The crazy thing is I drank a bunch of water just in case I would have. And I still feel awful, man. But, if I got beat by anybody, I'm glad it was Lilith. We've had some fun battles this season. I really wish, I'd have been able to do my homework for this race and at least put on like a photo finish for you guys. No matter who won, I'd love to have been closer, but it was a great season, like you said. Congrats to Lilith. She did a great job. I'd like to thank James Lowe. I wouldn't be nearly as fast or know as much as I do if it wasn't for him. He's been a great buddy of mine. Shout out to his aunt and uncle for watching all season, supporting us. Shout out to my mom if she's watching. Love you. Appreciate everything you do for me. Yeah, it's a real pain in the ass to, do so well throughout the season and not win it at the end. But, it was a great race. It's exactly what I wanted. I just came up short. So.
Well, you did a great job all season long. We were talking earlier about your successes this season. But the great thing about the Tech4Troops Cup Series is that, our season, we run 2 full seasons each calendar year. So you got a few weeks to kind of think about what happened, but put it behind you, practice, and get ready for season 5.
Yeah, it should be fun. Hopefully all the same guys are back racing next season. And we'll do it again and try to, get number 1 next season. But for now, I'll go back and practice for Homestead for next year, I guess.
Well, you're welcome to hang around while we bring Lilith Peters into the broadcast booth. John?
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Lilith Peters, welcome to the broadcast booth, and congratulations on winning the Tech4Troops Season 4 Championship. We got Chris in here. We also have Elliot, league admin. Got to say, great race. Walk us through your strategy. Walk us through how your race went.
It was everywhere. I just had to just try not to wreck for that first half of the race. And racing James and Chris and Garrett, very hard to not hit them.
That's the part of the biggest challenge we talked about earlier with this track. It's so easy when that tire wear and heat builds in. It's like you're driving on glass.
Yeah, you got to be careful not to overset the first few laps. And I was really terrible that the first stint. But I figured something out to save my tires a little bit better. And it ended up working out.
Well, congratulations on tonight's victory and the overall team championship for season 4 here. You consistently showed up and were successful. And watching the battle between yourself and Chris were all season long has kind of been a highlight for us here in the booth. It's been just great racing.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a really good race tonight. No cautions. Glad it was fun to broadcast and watch.
Well, again, we appreciate you. Shout outs for tonight, Lilith?
Yeah, I'll shout out my sponsor, Luna Steak Sauce. You can buy it at foxfirefoods.com. 10% off since I won. And I'd like to say sorry to James Lowe real quick. I kind of wrecked him indirectly, and I feel bad about that. We had good racing. But thanks, Chris, Elliot, for putting in the league. And all my friends and teammates I've made here.
You got it. So, season 5 in a few weeks. Will we see you again for season 5?
Yeah, I saw that schedule. I'll probably run that semi-full time, if not full.
That's awesome.
Hopefully you guys are there too.
That's our plan. I think one of us in the broadcast booth may have the month of September off. Not really sure who that is.
I see.
That would be John. He's traveling.
That would be me.
Yeah, you guys do a great job. So I'll be looking forward to that.
Sounds great. All right, that's your champion, Lilith Peters, who knocks out the season 4 finale here at Homestead with a big win here, and then takes home the championship for season 4. John, this has been a great
Yeah,
season.
it's been a fantastic season. We saw dominant performances from both Lilith Peters, Chris Farrell. I mean, it's been an amazing season between the two. I think now racking up 13 wins in 19 races. So it's been wild to watch that. We haven't had a season like that. But either way, though, the competition's been increasing every single season. And Lilith, first time, wins the championship. You know, that's got to bring some confidence to some drivers who's maybe looking to get into a league. So if you're interested, reach out to the IWM Broadcast Network. Find us on iRacing as well, or reach out to Elliot Swope. He is the head league admin, and he's here as well. And so I want to potentially pass it over to him to talk about a little bit about season 5 and what we can expect. Maybe talk about some recruitment races, Elliot, if you have those on the schedule.
Actually, this off season we're not going to run any recruitment races. We're going to go with the group that we have. It's been, the last 6-7 weeks the racing's been fantastic. It got better all season. Great race tonight, a great season. Congratulations to Lilith and really to Chris and Chuck and Garrett. And we're going to take about 4 or 5 weeks off. And if my memory serves me correct, August 14th starts season 5, and we'll do it all again.
Yeah, season 5 will actually bring a number of new tracks that we didn't run this season, and we'll finish at Phoenix, kind of like the normal Cup Series, but we'll run our All-Star break at Rockingham, which will be a change for these drivers, and we'll also get out and do the Chicago Street Race, which we just saw in real life. So yeah, looking forward to what season 5 can bring.
And let me say real quick, thank you to John and to Rick. We couldn't do this without you. You guys are our broadcast team, and you do a fantastic job. And also, Goat Racing Diecasts, and a big thank you to Tech4Troops. Without our sponsors, we couldn't do any of this.
All right, there you have it. Thank you again for those folks tuning in live, and for those who watch this race later on replay. We appreciate all of you who have liked and subscribed to our channel. That's what keeps us wanting to do better each and every week. We thank you again for tuning into our Wednesday night series here with Tech4Troops, and we look forward to watching tomorrow night in our Thursday night series with the iNASCAR series. Again, thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
See you tomorrow night.